Viewers, before we dive in, drop your location and local time in the comments. He swears it's the best way to see just how far stories like this travel. Now picture a quiet Saturday morning, the kind where the hum of a garage door feels like the day's first coffee. Sunlight pours in across polished concrete, catching the midnight blue curve of his Pontiac. It's not just any car, it's the rebuilt dream machine. His brother Matthew, a mechanic with patience bordering on sainthood, had crafted from the ground up. He'd driven it home just last night, still smelling faintly of engine oil and new leather. And then came the voice. Sharp, piercing, and pitched like a kettle seconds before boiling over. "There it is. That's my car, Karen." HOA president, self-declared neighborhood safety officer, and if neighborhood lore is to be believed, once fined a man for mowing his lawn in a zigzag pattern, was barreling down the sidewalk. She clutched her phone like it was the nuclear launch code, slippers flapping, hair pinned in curlers that bounced with every step. "You stole my brand new Lexus. I saw you drive it in last night," she shouted, gesturing at the Pontiac like a witness on a true crime show. He blinked. "Karen, this isn't a Lexus. It's not even the same decade of manufacturing." But she wasn't listening. She was narrating to 911 like she was broadcasting live from the scene of a heist. "Yes, officer, he's in the garage right now. Come quickly." In this neighborhood, a call from Karen wasn't just noise, it was a social earthquake. She knew every board member and most patrol officers by first name. Historians still argue whether her power came from her HOA title or her sheer stamina for confrontation. Within minutes, 2 police cruisers turned onto the streetlights, bouncing off manicured hedges and glinting mailboxes. Curtains twitched. Heads peeked out. Karen waved the officers over like she'd spotted a fugitive. "The thief's trying to run," she declared, despite the fact he was frozen in place, jaw tightening. Officer Harris, tall and calm, began circling the car, crouching to check the VIN through the windshield. Officer Ramirez kept his eyes on the homeowner. "Sir, mind telling me how you came into possession of this vehicle?" "My brother rebuilt it. Title and paperwork are inside." But before he could step toward the house, Karen cut in. "Don't let him hide the evidence." Ramirez's sigh could have powered a small wind farm. "Ma'am will handle the investigation." Harris radioed in the VIN, his voice calm while Karen hovered behind him like a mosquito with a law degree. Dispatch came back quick, registered to a Matthew Clark. "That's my brother," the homeowner said, relief edging into his tone. Karen's eyes narrowed. "Oh, please, he's making that up. My Lexus went missing last week. It was this color, this size. He probably painted it." The leap in logic was Olympic. He almost laughed, but in situations like this, humor is a double-edged sword. Harris asked for the paperwork. Karen followed him toward the front door, muttering about forged documents and criminal masterminds. Inside, the man grabbed the DMV folder. Title transfer, signed yesterday, insurance slip still in its envelope. Harris flipped through them, eyebrows lifting slightly. "Everything matches," he murmured to Ramirez. But before they could wrap it up, Karen whipped out her phone like a magician, revealing the final act. "Oh, I've got something better than proof. I have footage." Even the officers leaned in. Historians still argue whether they were curious or just bracing for disaster. On the grainy night vision clip, a shadowy figure parked a dark car in a driveway. The porch light glowed in the background. Karen jabbed the screen. "That's him. Same car, same garage." He stepped closer. "That's not my house." The clip's timestamp was from Thursday. He didn't have the car until Friday. And the porch light belonged to the Jacksons' split-level home with white trim. "Your house is 2 stories blue siding," Ramirez added. Karen's confident smirk flickered, but she doubled down. Maybe he drove it there first. Neighbors had begun to drift in, pretending to check their mail, but really here for the drama. Bob, the HOA vice president, arrived with 2 board members, his blazer already damp from the heat. He scanned the scene with the weariness of a man who'd been dragged into Karen's soap operas before. "This is my car," the homeowner told him flatly. "Title, registration, insurance done." Bob started talking about neighborhood aesthetics and storage rules, which nearly made the man choke on his own breath. "It's in the garage right now," he said. Karen pounced. "See? He was hiding it." Harris's patience had limits. Ma'am, unless you have direct evidence we're done here, you're getting close to a false report. The murmurs from the neighbors grew louder. Karen's eyes darted, calculating. She wasn't beaten yet, she'd just changed the battlefield. By nightfall, a thick envelope stamped "Urgent HOA Legal Committee" hit his front door. Inside, accusations of possessing stolen property and an ultimatum to remove the car within 72 hours. Karen's fingerprints were all over it. He didn't panic. Instead, he called Matthew. "Still have those photos from yesterday?" Matthew laughed. "Title transfer, insurance papers, and the DMV key handoff, every single one. Perfect." The next morning, he exercised a little-known bylaw that allowed any member to demand an emergency HOA meeting. By noon, the board sat in a semicircle at the clubhouse Karen planted in the center like a general awaiting surrender. "Let's get this over with," Bob muttered. Before we start, the homeowner said, placing a manila folder on the table, "I'd like to enter evidence into the record." Karen scoffed. "We're not a courtroom." "Then you won't mind if I share these with everyone?" He slid out the stack. First, the title transfer dated after the timestamp on Karen's video. Gasps rolled through the room. Second, a daylight photo of Matthew handing him the keys in the DMV parking lot. Third, a printed map showing where the ring footage was actually filmed at the Jacksons' place, 2 streets over. Bob turned slowly toward Karen. "Is this true?" She fumbled. "Well, I thought—" "You accused a neighbor of theft," the homeowner said, "called 911, wasted police time, and then tried to force me out with false claims." Bob's tone shifted, cool and clipped. "Karen, that's harassment under HOA bylaws. And with police involved, you could face legal consequences beyond this board." Her smug armor cracked. 2 weeks later, she was no longer HOA president. The board issued him a written apology, waived his HOA dues for the year, and fined Karen for conduct unbecoming of a board member. Historians still argue whether her punishment was more about justice or the board's collective exhaustion. As for the Pontiac, it gleams in his garage like a trophy. Sometimes on warm evenings he leaves the door open just a few minutes longer than necessary, long enough for Karen to pass by and catch that shimmer in the fading light. He doesn't wave, he doesn't speak, just leans against the workbench sipping coffee while the late sun reflects off the hood. Somewhere in that quiet moment between the hum of the garage door and the distant chirp of crickets, there's a peace she can't touch. And for the listener, that's the kind of ending worth holding on to, a reminder that not every battle needs shouting to win, and not every victory needs to be paraded. Sometimes the quiet gleam is enough.